What's up, future doctors? Welcome back to my channel. This is Write Your Acceptance. I'm Dr. Josie, and we are going to talk about what you need to tackle for medical school. So these are the common mistakes for applications. Most importantly, how to fix them. So I want you to kind of know the pitfalls because they can cost an acceptance. So let's kind of review insider tips, insight straight from admissions officers from recent statistics, and let's get into it. Okay, so number one, and this is my wheelhouse, weak or generic personal statement. Too many applications write weak, generic personal statements that, will rehash their resume or wanting to help people, love science. You want to make sure, and so I have so many personal statements, samples, breakdowns on this channel. I'll link kind of a series of videos, but you want to make sure that you are talking about the quiet moments of your Y medicine, things that are not captured in your CV. Connect the dots as to kind of like who you are, your values, your lessons, and make sure that all of that is building a story, is building a narrative of personal growth, of your perspective on medicine. Enhance your personal statement, and it's like you have a mic in the room. So you want to make sure that it captures your unique journey. A lot of you will have MA experience. A lot of you will be a CNA or volunteer at hospice or be an EMT. What you do with the stories you pick, your personal reflections, your connection, how you thread those experiences and build on them, scaffold them to build your Y medicine, showcasing growth and professional development and maybe the challenges you've overcome. That is how you personalize a personal statement, right? So your character, your motivations, medical school admission requirements, guides, you have competencies. You want to just kind of look at them as to these are thematically some things that are interesting, right? But you want to make sure that you are really showcasing your story. Number two, common mistake is ignoring red flags, whether it's low grades, a bad semester, a lower MCAS score without an explanation. Now, granted, I don't love putting red flags unless you need to in a personal statement. I think a personal statement should be the best of the best about who you are. But there are moments in your application, whether it's a secondary, whether it's the impact statement, you want to make sure, are you addressing an upward trend? First, do you need to take a post-bac? Do you need to complete a post-bac? Do you need to complete a master's to really fix or mend that GPA? Or is it just that you need to just kind of write about the red flags and explain them a little bit? And so make sure you just don't ignore them. Number three is poorly written secondaries. I think a lot of times students will spend months and months on their primary application, their personal statement, their activity section, and then they don't do a lot of pre-writing. I am a big proponent of pre-writing. Make sure you are pre-writing, I would say anywhere between 3 and 7 schools so that you have enough content to then start recycling. When you receive a secondary, you want to be submitting that within 10 to 14 days. Yes, sometimes lower priority schools, or you're inundated and you'll get 4 at a time, and so you'll kind of miss that mark, but you want to make sure that you are being proactive. So don't spend 4 months on your primary application and then rush in 4 days or 2 days secondaries, because it will feel that way. Sometimes, if they're reading this together, it'll feel like a mismatch, right? You want to make sure that you are not being rushed or too kind of hesitant about weak letters of recommendation. First of all, you want to make sure that you have your science letters, your non-science, you have letter writers that truly know you, that you've had a relationship with. I have a video, I'll link it here again. I have a video on how to ask for letters, on what information you should give them. Yes, you can give them your CV, but if you can personalize that a little bit more and maybe even write a paragraph once they say yes, write a paragraph as to why your experience in their course or in their lab was most meaningful to you, then that'll give them content, that'll jog their memory. And so you really want to make sure that you're kind of thinking about how to, yes, get letters of recommendation, but how to get the best letters of recommendation for you. Personalized, individualized, that they are cheering you on, that is as strong as possible. Also, make sure, schools are valuing leadership and initiative. They want doctors who take action, not just passive participants. So make sure that you have, intentional experiences. Also, make sure that you have a good fit with your school list, because if you don't have research, you shouldn't be applying necessarily to like research heavy programs, or not all of them, right? So balance your list. Research is not required for, many programs to apply to medical school. However, there are a number of programs that will be requiring research, or that, whose mission and focus is a research heavy kind of curriculum. And so you want to make sure that you're a good fit. So think about, use MSAR, the medical school admissions requirements, check median MCAT GPA, check the stats, but then also focus on fit. mission? Are they doing a lot of community rural health? Are they doing a lot of mobile clinics? Are they doing a lot of serving disadvantaged communities? Are they doing research? Are they doing XYZ? Where do you fall from a fit perspective? So build a strategic school list. And so, assess mission alignment. Number one, school's focus. Determine whether the school's mission emphasizes research, primary care, underserved communities, or other areas, right? Like I just mentioned. Consider residency or preferences, in-state, out-of-state, rotations that they have. Consider in-state, out-of-state for tuition. So some public medical schools prioritize in-state applicants. Figure out if they're taking out-of-state students. Research the percentage of out-of-state students that they take so that you kind of understand your chances, not just from MCAT GPA, but also are they taking out-of-state students? Are they taking XY? So kind of, tailor that. Another really big weakness that I feel happens a lot, but it feels so far in advance, is a weak interview performance. All of your writing has kind of come down to getting invites for interviews. You want to make sure that you are preparing for interviews like you were preparing for your personal statement. I treat interviews very differently than kind of, my colleagues at times, in the sense of I don't love to inundate students with mock interviews. I want them to really reflect on their experiences, on their stories, really have substance to talk about, and then practice. And practice in low-key experiences where you're practicing, tell me about yourself. Where do you see yourself in 10 years after residency? Why medicine? Why DO? Just practice those so the information becomes muscle memory to you, but then do your mock interviews, right? But treat your interviews, and whether it's MMI, whether it's open or closed file, treat your interviews as if they were a piece of text about who you are, but you're speaking that information, right? So make sure that you're really kind of focused on that it's an extension of your messaging. I threw a lot at you. This is kind of more introductory on what pitfalls and how to kind of amend them. I have content on personal statements, content on interviews, letters of recommendation. So on this channel, so you have a lot more to kind of look into if you want more information. If you want to learn how I work with students to work kind of on individualized messaging so that we elevate your content from personal statement to interview prep, grab your spot on my calendar. I'm going to take a few more students this cycle and we can chat if we're a good fit. And I hope this was helpful. I will see you guys soon and take care. Bye.